Dave,
Yes.
let's give a slow clap for Eric.
I mean, you just feel like you need to take a bath. It's fantastic.
Where did this come from? I think that deserves a little bit more than a slow clap. A slow clap is not well done.
Emotional.
A slow clap is ironic.
I'll clink for you.
That's it. No more clinking. Welcome back to the Jack of the Shadows podcast. We are in episode 10, beginning the second book of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, The Great Hunt.
Why did I think we were on episode 9?
Because we were on episode 9 the last time. Oh. Now we're on episode 10. We have made it a decade in, a deca book into, or a deca...
Hexadecimal point?
A deca episode into the podcast. Congratulations.
It feels like it.
The voices you're listening to are the VC boys. I'm Eric.
I'm Dave.
VC boys. I'm Adam.
And that is the cheerleader Adam.
Yes.
So this week we are going to be looking at the first 6 chapters and the prologue for the Great Hunt.
Second book.
We made it. You made it. This week's episode, we will start out with a view from Dragonmount. Then we're going to talk through the prologue a little bit. We're going to address that and deal with that separately. We will then launch into our typical beginning segment, which is What Shook Your Willow? Then we will do a little...
Willow!
Gotta kill that stupid title.
Then we'll do a little What's Up With You, where we will talk about
Did you seriously just say that?
And what in the world is going on with them. We'll do a little It Was All in Fain, where we will address Podden Fain and what he reveals. We'll do some I See You, where we talk about the Aes Sedai and what we learn about them for the first time in this book. And then our Coplin of the Week, followed by Who Leveled Up?
I think like the title of I See You is interesting
that's
to me.
That's your slow clap. That's not my slow
because that's
clap.
like Podden's thing. Like he sees you to the floor of the castle, no matter where you are, because he is freakazoid.
He is Sniffy Snifferton. I see through walls. I see dead people through walls.
He doesn't see just dead people.
He's like what's his face from Dracula.
I see living people.
From what?
Oh right, Renfield.
Yeah,
Renfield.
Yes.
I do think that called.
Renfield is the one who eats flies.
Yeah.
All right. So now that
he's laughing like Renfield.
Life is blood.
So let's take a view from Dragonmount and survey where we came from and where we're getting to. Last episode, we finished The Eye of the World, the first book of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, and watched our Emmonsfield companions continue into the dark realm of the Blight and confront the Forsaken.
What a good time it was.
What a great time it was being attacked by trees and plants and the ground. And the hills had eyes. Randall Thor actually defeats the Forsaken and what appeared to be the head of evil in Balsamon.
But wait.
And in the process discovered something terrifying about himself. So the first book ends in the relief that the evil has been defeated and the unease because Randall Thor is the thing that the entire world fears. Well, a man who can channel the one power. Only 4 of Rand's companions are aware of his condition, Moiraine, Lan, Nynaeve, and Egwene, while the rest are unsuspecting. The book caps off with
I'm just going to sit and listen to this.
Moiraine coming to Rand, or claiming that Randall Thor is not only a man who can channel.
What was that word?
It's a new thing. Yes, he can channel other dancing men dressed up as women.
Spam a lot.
That he is not only a man who can
Tramelot.
Yes, we are the only other 2 people that get that joke. He is not only a man who can channel, but Moiraine believes that he is the dragon reborn, the savior of the world for the battle that is to come.
At the same time.
So fast forward a month to the beginning of book 2, The Great Hunt, and it seems Balsamon has not died somehow.
Prologue.
And in fact is hosting a tea party. And in his chambers to announce a full search for the 3 boys are protagonists, or at least 3 of the 5. The first chapter sees
He
the
loves
company.
them boys.
Yeah.
He does.
An introduction of a mysterious, shady figure named Bors.
He's in search of some boys. The first chapter sees the company
Bors
in
search of the
Faldara
boys.
and then moves through a jailbreak for Pod and Fain.
That could be like a category all to itself.
So
Bors
that is
looking for
is
boys.
where we're at. That is a category that we won't do.
Yeah, well.
That is our survey from Dragonmount. And them's the 6 chapters we have read this week.
Wait.
Wait, what? Who?
That was
Where did Hanuman? Huh?
That was a summary of chapters 1 through 6.
Yeah.
Wasn't there 1 or 2 minor details that were left out there?
There were some details.
I think we're going to discuss some of those details.
We'll cover them.
All right.
I
at
liked
least,
it. It was a
at least I
bridge.
hope we would.
It was.
It was the best
It
of
was
summaries. It was the worst of
short.
summaries.
Well,
Wait, what are those dudes' names in the Muppets that are up in the
Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah, we said that. Jinx.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the prologue.
Prologue.
Where, in fact, we are introduced to a
Boars
man
and
named
boys.
Bors. And in fact,
man
if you
named
can't remember that the man's name is Bors, the book will remind you because it constantly refers to him not as Bors, but as the man named Bors.
So we know clearly this man's name is not Bors.
He's Borsing.
Yes, but we do find out some interesting things about Bors. Bors has a very low opinion of other people. Bors is apparently a child, children of the children of the light. He's a white cloak.
He is, yes,
right.
yes, he is a white cloak.
The whole introduction.
We know that why?
His cloak at the very end.
Because he dons one, and we also know that he is from the
on the
land of
shield.
the White Cloaks. One would guess he's important because it seems like everybody at this gathering is some important person or another.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, he's just a really good observer.
He is
because he's
observant.
noticing everything about the room, everything about all these people around. He noticed that someone had horribly burned hands.
Yeah, he pays attention, and he notices that there is indeed an Aes Sedai there.
It seems like he's a military person. It seems like he's the type of person that immediately can assess a situation.
Or a spy.
Well,
Boots.
he's clearly spying in the room. Right, and he also can identify military boots.
He
So
can
has
identify
some
people by their
familiarity.
culture, by their dress. So yeah, he knows his stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
and he's going to let you know
He's
it
a
because
god.
his inner monologue is incredibly arrogant.
Yeah, he is quite pompous.
He is self-certain.
But interesting thing, I mean, obviously the biggest thing in the prologue is Rand, you're wrong. Rand spouting out, I killed the Dark One. I know you did.
Oh, that doesn't turn
He's
out well
not
later.
dead.
Well, why would we have any reason
Kind
to
of
believe?
important.
I mean, what? I think we're along with Rand where
Well, no, but
it's-
it goes
it's
to what I
like,
said.
As a reader, you're like, what?
It goes to what I said at the end of the last
Well,
podcast.
no.
You never actually, if you don't see the body or the burned ashes, don't believe it for a second.
yeah,
well, not
except for
only
the
that-
fact that the guy went up in flames.
Yeah, but he faded away.
Hold on. Not only that, Moraine was like, don't mention his name. She's
Yeah.
still talking about the last battle has to be.
Right, Rand mentions his
So
name
there
and he
was-
gets all helter-skelter hinky.
Well, Moiraine has more of a context for what happened than
Well, sure,
Rand
but that's
does.
why there's.
But
in
Rand
Rand's
has
opinion,
the
yes, he
immediate
thinks-
hands-on
yes.
experience.
Yeah, Rand
But his experience
definitely
was
would feel that way.
wrong.
I was just saying as a reader.
I'm
Yeah.
not. I mean, are we willing to accept at this point that Rand is just flat out wrong that battle wasn't that he didn't. I mean, what
Yes.
happened there then? If he didn't defeat Baalzamon, what happened?
Bosman ran away. He escaped.
Maybe
he got away.
maybe
Ran
it was
away. He
maybe-
got fried.
It could
Well,
have
he
also
got
been
burned,
someone
but he
else.
didn't die. Apparently, he's just there, burned, badly singed. He's
It could
lit
have been
on
someone
fire.
else. It could have been someone else. First of all, second,
We have a
obviously, Rand thinks,
Baalzamon imposter.
yeah,
Who's running around with the same shriveled skin and the same fire and eyes and
It's
mouth.
a possibility.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know. I'm
possible.
just saying it's a possibility. And
Anything's
also,
possible, pig.
Whatever. All that matters is that Rand thinks that he killed him, and
He's gonna be in for a rude
obviously,
awakening.
there are points that have been brought up that he did that he probably didn't. So, and then now it seems pretty solid because he says, "I've been called by many, many names, but you may call me Baalzamon."
But you may
So,
call me
yeah, he's back.
Baalzamon.
It sure seems that way.
Anyhow, so he comes back and he does some tricks.
He's back and he's looking for the boys. And he's got a whole slew of people now looking for the boys.
It's really cool how he's talking to each one of these people individually.
Yeah.
Well, he's obviously
powerful.
right, exactly.
Yeah, but it's just a
so
really
if he
cool
is an
scene.
imposter, he's an incredibly powerful one.
It makes you wonder what he's saying to each of them.
We also get a sense of how pervasive the Dark Friends are. Up to this point,
They're everywhere.
it has been suggested that they're everywhere. They're in every society,
All
and they're
colors
not
and creeds.
and they're not just unimportant people like the guy that we ran into in Four Kings. They are
We thought he was
highly placed, and apparently their eyes to die there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not good.
And no,
Nope.
that will not end well.
Doesn't seem like it's a very good.
So Boris is, or I'm sorry, the man named Boris.
I am the man named Boss.
I am right.
if
Yes.
you talked like that. I am the man named
He
Boss.
probably
I know.
talks like this.
No, I know many things.
I know many things.
I just think we should keep the rest of the podcast talking like this.
That is some weird combination of James Mason and Inspector Clouseau.
James Mason.
Quentin.
Can we talk about-
Inspector Clouseau.
I'm just going to talk.
No,
the rest
we
of the
can't talk about
podcast in this
anything, Adam.
voice.
This is just a podcast. But we definitely can't talk about anything that begins with
The two youths.
No.
So Boris watches Balsamon play a little bit of Duck Duck Goose and go around the circle and tap different people on the shoulder.
I was really good at that game.
And apparently,
I choose you.
congratulations, it's a very simple game.
You got to be able to run swift, my friend.
And since when somebody's tapping you on the shoulder, he
reflexes.
obviously is identifying that Balsamon is taking possession of people's minds and revealing or communicating with them telepathically.
Not
Which,
a good guy.
which
You think he's doing
happens
that, or
here.
is he blocking everything else out?
I think he's well. I'm pretty sure that when we experience what occurs through Boris's eyes, that it is. I mean, he's in his head. I don't think, and no one else can hear. And then we realize
I
that
wonder
not,
which is more powerful.
not only is he in Boris's head, but he's actually in Boris's subconscious because Boris doesn't remember any of the instructions. So I think it's important that we talk about what some of those images are that embed into.
That's not very
Boris's
powerful if you
head.
can't remember that stuff.
Well,
'cause
not
that's
even-
important
not
stuff
e-
to remember.
Balsamon does say to him, there is now one who walks the world, one who is and will be, but is not yet the dragon. So
What does
that's
that
some powerful
mean? He's not
information.
yet.
Yeah. He is apparently, but not yet.
Well,
he will be.
Well,
He is and will be.
Well, I wonder if it goes to that conversation where Moiraine is talking to Swan, and she says that something about proclaiming himself, or he hasn't proclaimed himself.
Oh,
so I
yeah,
wonder if
true,
that's the reference. Like he is not
that
yet
makes
because
sense,
he
yeah.
hasn't proclaimed himself. So if he hasn't proclaimed himself, the prophecy hasn't been met of proclaiming to. So I wonder if that's what he's referring to.
I like it.
There's a lot of ambiguity here. There's even some questioning between Swan and Moiraine, which we will get into later on, about whether or not Rand is what Moiraine claims he is.
The instructions that he gives him is to go to Toman Head and deal with the Domini. Yeah, sorry. The
speak to
Domini
no
and
one.
Toman Head.
You
So
saw
what are-
nothing.
Wait.
What are these places
What?
he's sending
Who
him
the?
to?
Hey?
Wait,
Why are these
He-
important?
So he told him to go to Toman Head and deal with who?
Domani, whatever they are. And then he says, and then he has to go back to Terabon.
Right.
Yeah. So,
That
no,
is
he does. He says
Terabon is the
those who
home
have-
of the Children of the Light.
So he says, those who have landed at Toman Head.
Oh, the
and
Damani, the
of this
Damani.
You will speak to no one. Yeah.
Yeah, the people. That's the
Yeah.
Damani are the
My
people.
question is, who are these people and what is Toman Head?
Well, you can look at your map.
Right. Fortunately for all of us, there's a map in the book.
This seems like the first mention of it. That's
It is.
why I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah,
It is the
yeah,
first
okay.
mention of it.
You can look at it on the map.
It's
you guys
on the
are just
coast.
treating this like
It's
it's
on
not
the
a big
east.
deal.
Well, it's on the East Coast, and it seems remote, but it is.
I'm guessing the Damani are the
It's
people
weird.
of Ered Doman,
Yes.
Sure, but you're
because that's where
missing the
Toman Head
point.
is.
Right.
You're missing the point. To me, it's weird because he says you will speak to no one about this. So obviously it's important. And obviously it's important because
I am
Balzamon's
not
talking
missing
to
the
him.
point, sir, and I
Okay.
don't agree with the characterization.
So yeah, so he's like got 3 tasks he's got to do.
Well, okay. So prior to those, some images flashed through his mind, which we then learn he forgot.
The boys, Boars and the Boys.
Okay.
I'm just going to keep peddling this one
That's
because
after that.
There is a woman dressed in white. She recedes into the
She
blackness
wasn't
and vanishes. A raven stares him in the eye,
Knowingly.
knowing him. An armored man in a brutal helm, shaped and painted and gilded like some monstrous poisonous insect, raises a sword and plunges it into his side. And then beyond his view, plunges it into his side. Beyond his view, a horn.
at least we know what that is.
Golden came hurtling into the distance. One piercing note of it sounded as it flashed toward him, tugging at his soul. At the last instant, it flashed into a blinding golden ring of light. A wolf leaped from the shadows of lost sight and ripped out his throat. So we know of a wolf and a horn, right? And those are
That's it.
Those are
That is
Perrin and the horn of
Valier.
So we need to keep our eyes out, or our ears open, or our subconscious open to these
We're going to pry open our
ideas,
third eye.
Who's this
as we
lady in
continue to
white?
read this book. Right, we
And
need
these
to
ravens.
find out who this lady in white is.
I guarantee you I'm probably not going to remember any of those things unless someone else mentions them. There's too much else going on.
We need, so those are some things. So those precede. Adam, did you walk into a gale?
It's like a wind tunnel.
There is a gale force wind just happening right now.
It was a
It
stormy night.
It's weird. It switched sides. That's strange. It doesn't usually come
Imagine
from
the
up there.
wind shifting like that.
So there is
wind comes
it's because
whipping
we're
down the
speaking of
plains.
this man named Boars.
Right.
So he also saw Rand, and his eyes looked more blue than gray to him, which I thought was strange. This
They change colors.
Boars guy.
Those eyes of Rand.
I guess so.
They do. It's been
What
mentioned.
a seductress.
Seductress.
But no. So after
Seductor.
those realizations, he's given some explicit instructions, which are to head to Toman Head.
Which are threefold.
And
Three shall be the number,
instructions.
and the number shall be 3. 4 shall not be the number.
No more than 7 and less than 4. Plus 1.
I'm just thinking.
Nothing
I was
but snickering?
quoting that before, and you said only you and I would, and maybe Adam would remember it. And bet you went back to that bit.
No, I was just doing voices. I have no idea. That was not a bit.
I think you're hearing voices in your
That
head.
was yes. That was. I was just allowing the other person to take possession.
Okay.
So Adam, he gets those explicit instructions to go to Toman Head and
The Damani.
Yeah.
The Damani.
Yeah. And
Alright.
then he says some commands are too important to be known, even by the one who carries them out.
Hence
That's
my
strange.
suggestion of the subconscious. So he doesn't know these things, but they're latent within him.
Now I took that a completely different way.
Oh,
Ooh, I like it.
I took that as. So I've been wondering who this guy is.
I'm wondering.
Is he one of the Forsaken? Is he the Dark One? What is he? And this message here brings me in to think he's not talking about Boars. He's talking about him. I feel like
You're
he's
using
talking
a
about.
lot of pronouns.
I feel
for
like
my little
Balsamon
brain.
is talking about himself as a messenger. He's being given a message that's being passed along. That's how I took that there. That he's also a vehicle.
No, I think I
who?
think
No.
what's
Okay, well, you're telling me no.
No.
Let's rephrase that.
What's suggested here is, I mean, he says there are some messages which are too important for even the vessel that is going to deliver them to understand.
Right.
So he buries them inside these people, and they're going to act. They're going to have impulses that within themselves to do things
puppets.
that they can't explain. Right.
See,
they become puppets.
I took it as
Dance
he's passing along a message that even he doesn't understand what he's passing along. He's just passing it along.
I think that would
real
reveal
interesting.
a level of ignorance in this, what appears up to this point, this all-powerful character.
Chalk it,
It doesn't.
up, though.
It
Write
doesn't.
down.
Right. That is something that is discussed later.
Yeah, sure.
As we see how these things get revealed and how these characters act.
It makes sense from what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just the way I interpreted it when I first read it.
No,
I was
that's
like, I was confused.
I
like it.
The different
it makes
perspective
me all
is good.
tingly.
Isn't it
Or
also
the-
interesting,
the-
like
the
all
next
these
6 chapters.
servants that are like these mindless drones? They're just kind of like automatons, just like going
That's
about.
slightly terrifying,
Yeah,
honestly.
it
and Boris
is.
is also
Oh, very.
discomfited by them and the way that they behave.
Yeah,
which
they're
is,
just, it's unsettling.
which is
Well,
gross.
The
It's a-
shadow
it's
is a
They
frightening
seem to
thing.
be inside of some sort of cave, some room that's just ugh.
It's like
and then all these
outside time
creepy
and
people
space.
around.
Well, the room is hot, so it is apparently.
It's probably
So
a
he's
is it-
transported them.
Are they in
It's a nice room
Shale
for-
Ghoul? Are they in
Yes.
some place
Snakes.
like that? Or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, otherwise, why the suggestion?
Shut
of
well, they could be in
wood?
the Southlands. They could be,
Yeah,
they could be down in
I think.
Ilion or
I
someplace
think he's.
like that.
I think he's transported them to his little volcanic mountain.
Yeah. To chapter 1, we
maybe.
go.
all right,
We're
well,
not doing a chapter by
let's-
chapter
wait,
synopsis.
Right?
so
Yeah. No. To chapters 1 through 6 we go.
All right. Yes. You're using coconuts.
This is let's use other
back
references
to it.
than Monty
Back to
Python
it.
moving
Back
Oh,
forward.
but it's so good.
Okay, as the wind shifts through the willows.
So these are the days of our lives.
Precisely.
The wind in the willows speaks softly to me.
Just
Go
keep
ahead.
going.
Yeah,
I'm
all
listening
right.
to, I'm
Does
listening
it-
to my
does it
Nicholas
now?
tones.
Let it speak to you and tell us what it's saying,
the
Adam.
dulcet tones of Adam Van Conant.
So we got this lady introduced to us that is an Aes Sedai. An Aes Sedai. She does have that ring, that serpent eating a serpent ring,
She do be talking like that.
and her name is Leandrin. And
The
I don't
honey-haired
like
Leandrin.
Leandrin shook your willow.
ugh, no,
No.
yes, she did. She shook my willow, and
And it fell off.
she has
I
a lot
need-
of braids in her hair,
She does. She has dreads.
and then
do you
and then-
picture it like she's got
Yeah.
like, is it like
Yeah,
a
man.
whole head full? Yeah, is it? Or is it like,
jeez.
like little
Cut
girl
that out.
pigtail type braids?
Cut
Or is
it
it like
out.
full on like head full
I
braid
think
like
it's like-
Sherry O'Terry, like this crazy braided out, freaked out kind of.
I don't know. I
I think
imagine.
it's beautiful. I think she's described as being beautiful. First of all,
With her,
so
well,
with her,
her
really
face is-
rosebud lips.
her braids are probably really pretty and shiny. She's presented that way, but right from the get-go, it's just she's this cold-hearted
She's petulant.
lady. She just corners the Lady Amalisa and then basically
Browbeats her.
just tortures.
Yeah, she takes over her brain.
So
she browbeats her with her braids.
She is
that's
not a
crazy.
pleasant woman.
The braid browbeating. Say that 8 times fast.
Brave brow breathing, brave brow
Right,
breathing,
you
brave
already
brow
screwed
breathing,
up.
brave-
but she does it in a really clever way in the fact that she claims that she's claiming that her husband, or Lady Amalisa's brother, and
Aglamar.
her are
Yes.
dark friends.
The Lord of the Realm.
Lord of Faldara.
Kind of
Yeah.
a significant guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has a little bit of power.
So she's doing this in this really,
And hair.
really clever way to
With
make
that
her seem very
glowing
scared, and then she just like gives her the needles.
yeah.
Really scary that someone that is this powerful has that ability and seems to be up to no good in the rest of the chapters
No.
as well.
Yeah, no, the rest of because she's
Not
sticking
that
it
you
to
can really
Rand
come
too.
back from that.
She's starting to like get into Rand's head when he goes down there to see what Egwene's up to, and she's like probing into
Yeah.
his brain before Moraine shows up.
She
Thank
tried to
goodness
do the
she
same
does,
thing.
because what would have happened there?
Nothing good.
Yeah, well,
Love me some
nothing
Moraine.
good. I think I'd pull for some Rand though. I think Rand could have, he just did.
I don't know about that one. He is
Possibly.
not trained like she is.
Yeah, but he seems to get lucky. In
He does get
certain
lucky.
instances.
I don't think it's luck.
Maybe lightning would have
Taviran.
come crashing down
Well, it
through
didn't.
the sky.
Matt is lucky. Rand is.
crashes,
Yeah.
an old mother cries.
Leandrin dies.
I wish. She needs to
Yeah,
die.
so I wish. I don't like this girl.
Well,
No,
that's
for good reason.
awfully
Disappear
cold-hearted
soon.
of you.
I doubt it's.
I
doubt
think
it's
you
gonna
have something
happen.
against
So-
Rastafarians.
Blonde-haired Rastafarians, for that matter.
I think you have a strange version of what this person looks like.
Eric apparently is casting the Wheel of Time.
She
also.
wears a lot of orange and black.
You're just saying that it's like dreads.
Okay.
That's my.
Anything
my-
else about her? Or
Well,
I mean, there's a
Moraine-
lot of nuggets there.
Moraine does not seem to trust her at all. She comes down into the dungeon at the end after like you mentioned, and then she specifically runs in front of her to heal Egwene, and then.
Do you think she doesn't trust her because she's a red, or she doesn't trust her because of who she is?
No,
I don't know.
I think it's the whole red blue thing. And she doesn't like her. I think she has a terrible personality, and I don't think she likes her just personally.
Sure.
I don't think she trusts her character.
She's irritating.
Yeah,
sure.
And she seems bitter also.
Entitled and bitter, yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Like something you would put in your mouth and be like, "Yuck, what is this?"
Yeah.
And spit back out.
Well, either way, Moraine doesn't like her. We know that she's up to no good.
Are we thinking then that she is there for Black Aja?
Yeah,
Seems
the behavior
seems
that
like
she
it.
exhibits in the Lady Amelisa's quarters
Would
does
lead me.
not seem like Aes Sedai behavior.
I mean, this is our first real, if that's what we're calling it, our first real experience with that. And not only that, it's interesting that we saw. So, I mean, let's just throw back to the prologue. We saw someone with boars. I mean, maybe that's her. Who knows?
Right. Yeah.
We don't
exactly.
know.
We don't know.
But we need
Absolutely.
we need to keep our eye out for these people because somebody
They're
was
there.
in that room.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, we're Rastafarian again. So
David, you want-
mine is, I would say,
Symphony?
the slight erosion or change, I should say, of the dynamic between Rand and Egwene. You know, as Min pointed out in book 1, she's not for you, at least not what you both want. And we're seeing that happen more and more. And in this chapter, Egwene looks out for Rand. She takes care of him. She gets him into the women's quarters when everyone's looking for him. You know, they have their scuffle on the floor, which is really amusing to me. But that's more as friends. And it's more, we're just slightly seeing that between them change. And I wonder how hard that would be, like, for both of them. I mean, they've gone their whole lives thinking they were meant for each other, and it's subtly changing. For people who probably grew up thinking one thing the whole time, and this is their whole world is falling apart from what they thought was going to be with each other.
Also, Egwene has shown that she can get pretty easily distracted before.
So you think she's getting distracted from
You mean
Rand?
with what's his face? Aram?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that a...
No, I agree, but that doesn't take away from what you're saying. What you're saying is totally true. That's what happened at the end of the last book. That was really sad. Is that there was clear separation that was going to happen. Yeah, it's really sad.
Egwene seems to have a clearer sense of where she is headed than Rand does.
Yeah,
Rand is still steeped in the past. He is still, while I do see a change occurring in their relationship, the majority of that change is occurring through Egwene, because Rand is still making references to the way things were supposed to be.
But the funny thing is, Rand's the only one that knows between the two of them that it's not supposed to work out. Egwene doesn't know that we know of.
Right, because we don't get a lot of narrative time in Egwene's head.
Well,
actually.
no, not only that, but it's made actually very clear, because Egwene doesn't know anything about Min. Egwene showed up later, remember?
No, but she knows she wants to become an Aes Sedai, and she knows that...
I'm strictly talking about their relationship.
Right, no. Her being an Aes Sedai impacts their relationship.
Maybe. How do we know that?
Because Lan has mentioned the fact that not many Aes Sedai marry.
When did he mention that?
He mentioned that in book 1. He mentions it to Rand. I don't remember exactly when that occurs.
I'm sure it's already after the fact that Rand already knows from Min that they're not going to have that. Go ahead, Adam. I'm sorry.
He also mentions it to Nynaeve.
Nynaeve, yeah.
So she seems to have a clearer understanding of the fact that the dynamic of their relationship has changed than Rand does.
Well, I think that's just her personality in general.
Distracted. She doesn't ever say, she barely says anything to him that is really sweet anymore. They have no interaction, basically.
I disagree there, because the one person whose eyes Rand looks into and doesn't see questions in is hers. Well,
after her initial
other
freak
than
out.
Lorraine. Between her and Nynaeve, Egwene is the one that Rand still feels like is there for him and is treating him the same as far as a comfortability standpoint goes from where they were at the beginning of this series.
I don't think since the beginning of the series. I think now it's way more of a friendship thing than any romantic.
Well, when they were first introduced, there was an understanding of a romantic involvement, but you didn't really see any. We've never really seen anything of that. It's always only been talked about. So they,
it's been described through Rand's eyes.
And in fact, they were uncomfortable around each other because of the romance. That being said, she's the one person whose eyes Rand can look into, and she doesn't look away. There's no flinch.
Well, no.
Rand still references the fact that his
Nynaeve,
interactions with Nynaeve, he still suspects that there is something behind her which is fearful of him.
Nynaeve in the last book came directly to his defense and was like, "You are still Rand from the Two Rivers."
Right.
The narrative is always really close to him. So when he describes his interactions with her, there's always the sense that he feels like she is still suspicious of him. Even in this book, the couple of times that he interacts with her, he doesn't distrust her. He simply thinks that she's uncomfortable with him and what she knows of him.
That's probably his own prejudice against himself now that he knows what he is.
Well, yeah. But I mean that's how he feels. He doesn't feel that way about Egwene though.
Yeah,
that's a big difference. There's something in their
questioning
behaviors.
He keeps questioning what he thinks Egwene will think about him, but that's him projecting. He's projecting his own fears onto somebody else.
Well, I mean, the narrative is in his head for the majority of these first 6 chapters, and certainly for the last several chapters of the last book. So all we know is that he feels way more comfortable with Egwene than he does with Nynaeve.
Right, and for me, that's even more part of this. Even more part of the sadness is just the and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that they're still friends and they're not they're not the star-crossed lovers that we hoped they might have been.
Well, no, they are star-crossed.
Well, but it's the fact that their lives are moving on.
So
and Rand has no idea what his is going to.
No,
and she does.
Yeah,
like Eric said,
she has hope to look forward to something exciting. He's looking forward to going mad.
No, I think Rand does know where his life is going. It's going to burn out very soon.
Yeah.
My observation is what happened at the very beginning of the book. So chapter 1 starts out, and we're about a month into them being back at Fal Dara and everything being okay. And we also see that Rand is becoming a swordsman, and ironically, that's how he's depicted between the 3 characters that Baal-Zaman presents to his minions. There's the swordsman, the trickster, and the axeman. Rand is sword training and heading down that path of becoming, at least respectable for having a swordsman's blade. He's practicing with Lan, and he gets trapped in some kind of a crazy wind that solidifies around him and throws him, up against the boundaries of the parapet that they're practicing on. It just further solidifies what we learned through the prologue, which is this big battle that we have at the end of the last book, which in a traditional fantasy story is the end, like the good versus evil, and we've been, for everything that we've known, Baal-Zaman has been the source of evil in this story. The evil gets burnt out, and yet it's not the end, and we get that idea reinforced in several different ways. We get it reinforced in the fact that something evil comes and traps Rand up there.
Something wicked this way comes
to try to kill him. And he says Shaitan's name and at the very least gets dizzy. The world rocks. It seems like what we witnessed at the end of the last book, what we thought we were able to conclude, is in fact false. That
this is the second
evil
book.
The evil has not been defeated.
Well, and
because
this is
he's getting
book
grabbed by
2,
it?
and in book 1 we had the wind. It started out in the beginning of book 1.
No.
It's here in book 2 as well.
That's a different wind.
What are you basing that on?
The wind in these first couple of chapters is purely there as a way to provide two things. It gives you a sense of the geography of the landscape, and it also gives you a sense of time. It gives you a sense of the fact that that you have this time which continues through everything and then recycles itself.
I'm going with something completely different. I think that wind is the presence of the Dark One.
No, I don't.
There's
see
Eric
that.
with his no again.
The Dark One manifests himself in the first book after the wind in the form of the Murdral.
It's one of his minions.
Well, right, because other than that, the wind
There's a difference, but I think there's a difference in the Dark One's touch on the world, which is affecting the weather. It's affecting a wind pattern. It's which is different than I'm sending my people out to do my bidding. This is his presence affecting the world that you live in.
Well, the wind doesn't affect the world in the very
sure
first
wraps up Rand
in the
first one
in the first book
that we know of, other than being
and that wind and this specific wind. I'm not sure that
they might not be the same.
I'm not sure that right exactly. I don't think it is. I think the wind that entraps Rand is different than the wind that is used in the narrative at the beginning.
I mean, they might be related, they might not be, because this wind that traps Rand is clearly something.
It's obviously evil, and it has intent, even though it's not realized. So there's a definite sense that like everything we thought we knew with the way that story is formed and concluded, and the way that story should have ended at the end of last book is just false. So it makes you wonder, what did we go through all that for?
Well, you're right. You read the beginning of this, and Bors is all of a sudden talking with the guy that's supposed to be dead, and you're like, what is going on here? You turned my head upside down, but I think that's fantastic writing. I think it's great where it's like everything you thought you knew, you didn't know. It's Jordan doing it. Jordan, he's done that throughout book one, where he kind of pulls the wolves over your eyes a little bit, and then pulls the carpet out from underneath you afterwards, and he's done it again. He's like Houdini.
Here's the other idea that I will introduce here, because what we know of this book is that Baalzamon is the Lord of the Dead. So is it possible that he did die and he reincarnated himself?
Why would he reincarnate himself back to like a really scarred up, burned up body though?
Maybe there are
scary.
some pieces of damage that can't be undone.
It's like the end of it's like Infinity, where he Hulk can't heal himself from the burns he gets from holding the the stones.
I mean, he does brag about being the Lord of the Dead. I mean, maybe maybe something like that happened, because that's the other thing that we do learn here is that there and that's the thing that Jordan is constantly reinforcing, is the reincarnation idea, that time keeps recycling itself. So anyway, that was my observation.
Time keeps on ticking.
So that wind is a force, and we just don't know.
Well, it's obvious. It's an ill wind,
right? Hey,
we understand
an ill wind of fortune.
That much is I think we can all agree on. So let's talk a little bit about what's up with you.
What's up with you?
What is up with you?
What's up with you?
Both Rand and Egwene exhibit
dumb,
really, really annoying behaviors in these first 6 chapters that, from an outsider's perspective, bring a lot of questions.
Well, Rand is cranky pants Jones.
Rand?
I mean, he's just.
Oh my gosh, Rand is so morose. He's just so like, I'm no good for anyone. I need to find a corner to go and cry in.
Do you really think it's that? Or I don't know. I'm going to debate you on this to a point. Because Rand has now bought into his own stereotype. He's been grown up with the fact that we know Emmons Fielders are
bigoted.
Yes, I was trying to be more kind than that, but yes.
Oh, that too.
So now he is what they've grown up to hate.
Yeah.
So as such, that's going to bend your mind a bit.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance.
So
yeah, 100%.
But in the midst of all that, Rand is still looking out for everybody else first.
Oh,
he's looking out for his friends.
It's
he's
a little
trying to protect them.
That's the problem.
I don't feel like it's. I feel like it's annoying. I don't feel like it's self-righteous. I feel like slight martyr syndrome, perhaps. But at the same time, he's got the right intent. He's doing it all wrong.
Oh yeah, no. So self-righteous is the wrong word. Yes, he is self-making a martyr out of himself.
But how?
Go ahead, Adam. What was that?
What do you expect him to do?
I don't know. That's just exactly it. Remember, and once again,
what we've established already is that none of them talk to each other about anything significant.
Not only that, he can't talk to them about that. Not only that, the kid's 16, 17?
He's 18.
Yeah, he's
probably
great
18.
job. He does a great job separating them. That's like the biggest thing that you find out in this is not the biggest, but one of the things is that they're all separated, which he was establishing in the end of the last book.
But you're right. He's a bit cranky pants Jones. He's a bit sorry for himself for good reason. But
so this first plays itself out when he comes upon Matt and Perrin and Loyal gambling in a stable. I think in
it's
Faldara.
in the cellars or something.
He's running around trying to get
get out.
evade the Amerlin seat who has arrived at Faldara. Essentially, he deliberately picks a fight with them, so that they will not leave with him. Because because Matt's like, hey, I'm gonna leave because this place ain't cool. And Rand is like, I'm gonna leave because I'm gonna kill everybody within 3 weeks. So,
but also Matt at that point was like, everybody's like, he just kept winning.
That's what he does.
I guess
all I do is win,
no matter what.
Not really.
Really?
This is once again.
That's your chorus for that song. That's all I do is win, no matter what.
Not
really.
Not really,
Matt. Not really.
Well, once
Matt.
again, so here's the thing.
Precious.
Rand is doing the right thing. He's doing it wrong. Is it morose Rand or is it teenage Rand who doesn't know how to handle anything better?
What's happening here is you're pulling a Rob Zombie
because
you want to make this movie that understands the motives for what Rand's doing, and I don't disagree with any of what you're saying. I'm just saying he is annoying. I don't care why. He's just
but he's annoying by design in that situation.
No. It all makes sense. It's just annoying. I just don't. What's amazing is Rand was a really likable guy for the first book. He was a guy who just did what needed to be done and no.
But here he is
asked.
once again doing what needs to be done.
Now it's just like he just feels sorry for himself and
I'm getting a bit of that.
I'm
getting a bit of that, but once again, I'm gonna say he's still doing what needs to be done.
I get it. I get the human motivation. It's just
he's
that's my
not
comment.
Egwene.
Whose brain cells have just left.
Who is just okay? So, caveat to that, and
Egwene's
Eric, you and I discussed the fact Egwene's doing stupid things by going down and visit Potta and Fain.
100%.
First of all, it's underhanded.
I keep saying that.
Huh?
I'm done saying 100%. I promise.
Okay. First of all, she does not. She's doing it behind Moraine's back. Who, if there's going to be anyone who knows,
stupid Egwene.
Right? Yes. I want you to just do that voice again because that's what's fantastic. But so she's doing this behind Moraine's back. Who's going to know the best thing to do it? Because we found out Potta and Fain is like the worst thing ever.
Yes.
I mean, he's so evil that evil's scared of him.
After Moiraine has had an entire monologue about the evil that is Potta and Fain.
I'm going to go traipse down and talk to him because maybe there's some good in him. We're going to reminisce about Edmund's Field, who he tried to kill for crying out loud. I'm going to go down and talk to him.
How do you really feel?
Oh my gosh. It's the height of stupidity. I will caveat that,
It's
and Eric,
also
you and I
arrogance.
discussed this with I said that it shows the compassion she has, which is a good thing. And she's also probably lonely because she can't talk. She is lonely. She can't talk to Rand. She can't talk to, maybe she's not talking to Nynaeve. Nynaeve is probably off there in a corner mooning over Lan. Oh, by the way, Nynaeve is annoying. Probably doesn't want to talk to her. And she goes and does this incredibly stupid thing, which is a kind-hearted thing, but dumb. And you're right. And Erica tried to figure out, so have we, and Adam, think about this for a second. Have we seen instances of the compassion that Egwene shows other people? I would say yes. I'm thinking about her and Perrin out when they rediscovered each other. I think we get glimpses of Egwene's heart throughout book 1. Clearly, the end of book 1, she's thrown by
Whatever.
Rand, and then she goes to her loyalty towards him. I think she has a
Sure.
good heart, but dumb.
That doesn't matter.
Apparently, it matters
that has
more than
nothing-
intellect
That's so
does
dumb.
at that moment.
No, it's so stupid.
It is
Whatever.
stupid, and
that's
and
not a
it
good
ends
heart.
up backfiring
I don't think that's
horribly.
the description of a good heart. You should
So-
not be going after this guy and hoping.
Well,
I think
okay,
it's a little
but then let's
self-righteous.
throw this
I
to
think it's
Tolkien.
Self-righteous.
Let's throw this to
I think that's-
Tolkien. They spare
Well,
Frodo. Is
whatever.
Gollum.
Thank you, Gollum.
Yeah.
They spare Gollum. Gollum ends up, if not for the sparing of
It's a
Gollum, if
stupid
not for the
decision.
compassion of Gollum, everything fails.
Yeah, but you don't know
Yeah,
that
that's
until the
We
very,
don't know.
very
Look.
end.
Well, okay, but we
You
don't
know
know
the
that
end of the
here
book.
either. Is my point is, we know Jordan makes a point of doing things for a reason.
Yeah,
At-
he's
up to
making
this
Egwene
point.
annoying. is
But
what
we're
he's doing,
we're
and
we're
he's
talking
doing
about
it for a
things.
reason.
You're
Right,
now,
Egwene's annoying.
You're now moving on to a writer's argument versus the character.
Okay, but Egwene is annoying,
Which is where
but
we
she's
started.
also kind. And that compassion is also explained further in these chapters that we read because she helps Rand out. She sticks him into the women's quarters. She's the only one that looks out for him
That's
when he's trying to
fine.
escape.
Well, she's the one person he
I'm
trusts
just
because he
saying-
doesn't
I'm
want
just
his
saying
boys
there
around.
is all I'm doing is you can draw a line in the
It's two
sand
sides of the
about
coin.
being
One side is
kind.
dumb, the other one is kind.
No. I disagree with that. You can be kind and dumb, and you can also be kind and not dumb.
Yes.
No, I'm just saying she is kind and dumb.
She's dumb. Yeah.
She's
just- I also think I also think it's good writing because she is a little self-righteous. She's really kind, but she's also very self-confident.
Is
and
she
very
so-
self-righteous.
right.
I don't get
She's
self-confident,
going
yeah,
down
self-righteous,
there
I don't
thinking
get.
that she can make. She's going down there thinking she can make a difference. She thinks that it's going to be good for him. That she can
That's
maybe.
not self-righteous to me. That's
Right.
just
I think you're just using the wrong term. I think you mean strong.
No, I don't think I am. I think
Stubborn,
she
yes.
thinks that
Self-righteous,
she can
no.
she can make. Okay.
She's arrogant. She is. She's
Sure,
arrogant.
that's
She's,
what I'm saying.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what.
and
you're
it's
saying.
good,
different
and
than
I think you need to
self-righteousness.
be in order to be a successful Aes Sedai, apparently. But it's
Hmm,
a dumb choice.
it's stupid.
So the problem,
Dumb.
the other problem that I have with it, and this is slightly an authorial argument, is that between Egwene and Rand, we've seen a contrast.
I would have picked Nynaeve for that role.
Rand has been the person who has been rooted in Emond's Field, who is, other than from a practicality standpoint, has been the person who has wanted to go back.
Yeah.
The only reason that they have fled is because of the danger that they present. Egwene has been presented as the person who wanted
Wants
to
to
get
leave it all
away,
behind.
who is looking
Yeah,
for, other
easily
than Matt,
distracted.
is looking for adventure.
Well,
Looking for adventure. I
heading
think
for
you
the
can be adventurous
highway.
without being ADD.
Think about this.
No,
though.
100%.
She
What?
is.
I
she-
did it again.
But I wonder.
So let me finish my point.
All right.
She has been the person who has not been homesick, and yet now her homesickness has been used as a device to essentially get Pod and Fain out of Faldara. It seems convenient, and more importantly, the convenience argument for me comes in from the fact that it seems out of character for her to, because she does, and maybe she doesn't understand her motives. That would be a good argument, but she makes the argument. She says, or somebody says, she's getting homesick, and that's the reason why she's visiting him. She
that
tells
true or
Rand.
not?
So that's a good question.
Well, that's let me interject here.
Well, let me finish. There is also the motive to redeem Pod and Fain, because she does say that
Right.
she sees some good in him and that he's becoming more
Yeah.
like
Which
his
there
old
is
self.
none of.
He's becoming more like his
Yeah.
old self as she visits with him.
Cool, Egwene.
That we know. What we don't know is whether or not she is homesick, and that's why she's visiting him. Though that has been suggested.
So my point to all that is,
I disagree, though.
it goes to what I was saying about the dissolution between Rand and Egwene. I think part of the reason why she's homesick has started in the end of last book, because she's losing Rand. She's losing what she thought was always going to be there. There's a
I think
separation.
that's a really romantic view.
Well, I mean, they were the romance of the first book.
You love those Nicholas Sparks books.
I have read just about every Nicholas Sparks book. It's true. But
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I agree with you that there's this romance going on. Like we talked about, a lot of it is through Rand's perspective. And then you see Egwene just going like full throttle to become an Aes Sedai. She's not going to stop at anything.
No.
And we barely know anything about, and all we keep hearing is that they're not like good to be married.
So maybe
she's still going to that though.
She is going through that, and
So
now she's losing
that is
it.
her personality.
So she has to turn.
And then she's like, I'm
elsewhere.
really good at this.
I think your point is very valid, and that is that these 4 kids are all isolated.
And they're isolated from each other now.
Right, exactly, because they've traveled together as a group. They're miles and miles away from home. I mean, they are cultures away from home in an exponentially different world. They should have each other, but there are only 4 of them, and each one of them is very right. I mean, Perrin is afraid that anybody understands where he's at.
He can't look at anybody.
You talk about mopey. Perrin is the one that's mopey.
He is, but we don't spend a lot of time in his head.
Darn good reason.
No, we don't spend. Yeah, we also don't. It's the same thing. We're only in Rand's head to this point.
Right. There's not a lot of narrative time.
But if you
Thank
deconstruct
God.
it makes sense.
Oh no, it makes sense, but that doesn't make him any less pleasant to be around.
No,
Matt is just a giant defense mechanism, and then
Matt is reflection central. Or
deflection.
Central.
I'd rather be hanging out with Matt though.
Oh, absolutely.
Matt will just get you in trouble.
Rand is dealing with the same problem that Perrin is dealing with, and
in a different way.
Actually, so is Egwene. You could see how she could be steered toward Podden, but at the same time, like, what? Come on.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
It's dumb. It's just a dumb. It's like every horror movie ever, where the person you're like, what are you?
That door.
Don't answer that. Take that phone call. What are you? Yeah, look behind
guys,
you idiot.
I think I heard a noise in the basement. You all stay up here.
I'm
going to go downstairs and check it out.
Yeah, yeah.
No, let's run upstairs.
Yeah, I mean, it's
hide in the closet.
So speaking of what is downstairs, it was all in Fain. He seems to be holding a lot of the information and reveals much about what's going on.
This guy is just freaky.
Yeah,
I've hated him. He creeped me out in the first.
I sort of love him.
Oh my gosh,
Mordeth.
The man formerly known as Mordeth or what?
Mordeth, and
we also
and
maybe known
Fain.
as him now.
So it's really interesting because it's been suggested up to this point.
Eric,
that
you find him fascinating.
I do. I like him.
Are you going to invite him over?
Right, seriously. I'll be out of the
No,
apartment.
I'm not Egwene. I'm
Is
not
Mr.
going to invite him over for
Is
tea.
Mr. Tumnus going to
Eric is like, this is, you know what this is? This is like, Eric's attraction to him is like Starling in Silence of the Lambs observing Lecter through the glass cage. That's like what Eric wants to be with Pod and
I will talk to
Fain.
him through 8 inches of plexiglass for sure.
No, I'm not going in that dungeon.
I'm
not having Meegs throw semen on me. That's not
afterward.
happening. No, I don't want any part of that room.
But yes, I am not going to be little Lucy sitting down for tea and toast and cakes with him.
You are though.
No, I'm not.
Cakes. You kind of are.
You can't make me.
You want to sit in that room. Adam and I don't even want to be in that prison.
You guys are shoving me into the room now. I'm like in the door frame resisting, and you guys are like, no, you have to go in there.
You just said you want to sit across from the plexiglass. Adam and I don't even want to drive up to the prison.
Okay, that's fine.
We're not giving anywhere near there.
I still need a reliable barrier between myself and this man.
Listen, though.
That worked out well for Jody, didn't it?
The reason I'm not doing that is because there could be a time that plexiglass gets broken.
And then you're sitting down and Hannibal Lecter's eating the brains of the guy across the table from you.
Nobody breaks the plexiglass. The worst thing that happens to the plexiglass is, Billy, I love you.
No, the worst thing that happens to the plexiglass is Pod on Fain escapes.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't escape through the plexiglass. He escapes through the trapdoor.
He could escape through thin air for all I know with this guy. He's like the master of evil.
So none of us like him.
No.
Or at least we all find him terrifying.
Some of us apparently find him fascinating.
It is, well, that's why I watch horror movies.
He is, but he's not, ugh.
So he says a couple of interesting things, one of which is they get to the door. So first of all, Moiraine is like, hey, you want to hide? We can hide you in the dungeon. Rand goes.
Can we talk about
what?
That would not be Moraine.
talk
That'd be
about Moraine for a
Egwene.
second?
Egwene. They kind of rhyme.
They should have killed this guy. They should have
they should have
beheaded
killed
him.
The reason for letting
he
Moiraine
should be
is-
dead.
Okay, so the error then, what you're saying is Moiraine is studying him also, like
She is.
a little frog pinned on
Yeah.
a plate, and you're
what?
saying that a frog.
Oh, I thought you said
But you can
fraud.
always
No,
say
frog.
He's a
Wheel-
fraud
wheel-
pinned on a plate.
Frog. Frog protection.
throw.
Adam, are you with me? He should be dead.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. But they
wouldn't- but then
Moiraine
you
wants
wouldn't
to
have
know
learned
more.
nothing.
Moiraine wants to know more about him,
She does,
so he
and-
lives.
He does, and then apparently it's not going to
Yeah.
end well.
And Egwene just keeps saying he's safe behind iron bars.
Right. The,
So
the
Egwene-
master of evil.
Egwene brings
Because iron
Rand
bars
down
have been
there.
keeping people.
Yeah, she's going to hide
Inside
Rand
the prisons
in the
lately.
basements
To
next
hide
to
Rand.
the dark, evil
And
sludge.
nobody notices that everybody in the prison is slowly becoming more and more acerbic.
They're becoming morose. They're becoming
They're
like.
becoming
Jango's
angrier
not having
and
a good
meaner.
time.
I mean,
Well, here's the interesting thing.
Is Miggs the name of the guy that
That's what I mentioned,
thrusts
Silence
his-
the Lamb.
Right, yeah.
It's the effect of the evil in the room next to you. And it
Obviously.
leaches into, but they
Obviously.
switch the guards out. So it's a question of
Well, yeah.
how quickly does that.
They've
how
been there a
quick is that-
month.
Well, we don't know how often they switch the guards, but I'm wondering how quickly that evil pervades.
He's been
So they're
down there a
switching the
month.
guards. Imagine, like you're saying, the cellmates next to him, and we
Right.
find out the cellmates go crazy because of
Yeah.
whatever evil they saw.
Right.
And I wonder what that is because he got out by means of somebody else. So was
Right.
it?
Somebody he knew.
So was it Padan's evil that made them go crazy, or was it
Yes!
the evil that, or was it the evil that came in and got him
No!
free? We don't know.
No. The evil that is in him has been tainting these individuals that have been
Right.
in the area.
Right, but
Yes,
then
That's
something
not
else
necessarily
came
what let
in.
him free.
No.
that's
It's
what-
not what
The
led him.
Trolloc
Free.
writing
Up at-
or whatever.
Let's talk about the
But
evil
okay,
that
yes.
he is.
The evil he
Yeah.
is has
No,
leached.
so-
I'm surprised it's not even in the stones in the wall. It probably is.
It is.
Probably is, but they can't complain.
But instead, it's dark prophecy that's on the wall.
So Egwene brings Rand down into this environment as a safe place to hide him.
They're usually cool.
And
I love her reaction. She's like, "He's not normally like this."
right.
Right, because he's
Neither is
playing you
this
like a
other guy.
harp.
So she brings him, and she goes in and talks to Podden, who looks slightly different than she recalls seeing
Reacts
him before.
slightly different too.
And she goes and talks to him, and Podden says, "I feel you there, hiding, Randall Thor. You can't hide, not from me, and not from them.
Not like he could hide. He's like 16 feet tall behind
You
the
thought it
2-foot
was
Egwene.
over, but
Yeah.
did you not? Right, and then he goes into you thought it was over, but the battle goes on and on, which is an allusion to the cyclical sense of time in this world.
Yeah.
But-
Rand's like,
But also
"Are you
to the fact that
talking to me?"
Balzamon's not dead, right?
So the question is, does Padan know that?
I think so.
But he's the Hound, but he's not. He's attached to the Shadow, but he's not of the Shadow. He's his own evil.
He's
so
somehow tethered to Balzamon in some way.
I don't know that he's.
It's-
Well,
no.
yeah.
He knows
Yes,
somebody's
he
coming
was
for
his
him.
Hound. He was his hound.
He knows something's coming for him, and he knows it's coming for Rand too.
He knows a whole lot of business. He knows where people are located.
He knows something coming for him, and he knows something also freeing him because he keeps looking up, and it seems like he's sure looking up at this Leandrin lady.
That's what I want to know is after Rand and Egwene leave, he is constantly looking up, but I think he's looking up to where
Yeah.
Rand is. That's what he's looking up to.
No,
Because that's the
not
thing.
because
He
he's
doesn't-
looking up one time when it's not him there. He's either looking at the dagger or he seems like
Yes.
he's looking at this some. other
He's
thing.
either going to be looking. He knows where the dagger is, and he knows where Rand is. Those are his two pins in his map.
Okay.
So he is constantly aware of those two things. And then
The guy
they
just has
leave.
evil dripping out his pores.
They leave, and he has this rhyme. Soon comes the day all shall be free, even you, even me. Soon comes the day all shall die, surely you, but never I. The other interesting thing about Fain is that he knows something is coming, and he predicts his breakout. And then he is broken out.
That's not good.
And the whole right, and this is and ultimately I think you're right. I think this does come down to Moiraine should have destroyed him.
Yeah.
If she could have, by the way, which we don't also know, because this is the other thing is this is the first time that Podden Fain actually references Mordeth. he mentions Mordith here, which he has never acknowledged before. So he is also
Can't trust a
aware
word that snake oil
of what's
salesman
going
says.
on in the bifurcation of his soul or whatever. That is all about Fain.
Ugh, man, so creepy.
Fain. I see you. Let's discuss the Aes Sedai a little bit here, because up to this point, the only thing that we really know about them is the Emmons Fielder's point of view and the point of view of some of the different outlying kingdoms that either like or dislike Aes Sedai. We haven't seen them in practice yet.
The Faldarians sure seem to like them.
They dig them.
Yeah,
like
them
Sugar
some Aes
Smacks.
Sedai. Yeah,
But
Ooh, Sugar Smacks.
we get a look at the inner workings of Aes Sedai here. We get Moiraine and Swan together. We get a little of Leandrin sprinkled in.
We get a little bit of the Keeper of the Seals.
We do. We get a couple of Brown Aja also
Baron.
flecked in. So talk to me about what we think about these spinsters of the wheel, I guess.
They have their plans, and apart from Leandrin, who clearly has her own not good agenda, Moiraine and Swan
Some people
have they been friends?
No one likes black licorice.
No one really knows they've been friends.
Right.
Because, well, I guess Moraine's been
Who's
gone.
friend?
Moraine's been gone from the tower for some time,
Yep, we get that.
searching for Rand.
We can
And
guess
this
that.
is so now she's met up with Swan, and apparently they had this plan together. But Swan's a little ticked because she's not gotten very many missives from Moiraine, who's been a little busy, to her defense.
Well,
Saving the world.
Swan seems to be in a bit of trouble. She's suggesting that things are going on with her potency, her potentacy, her potentatency,
Potables.
her rulership that hasn't happened in hundreds of years. She has factions which she expects to be aligned with her, which aren't.
There's a lot of
aligned with
politics
her.
there. They're talking about the influence of the Reds with potentially getting Elaine, and they're both like, yeah, she's not going to be a Red.
Yeah. We're in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, there's a lot of politics there
Everybody
to that.
has
There's a lot of factioning within factioning. There is
Fractioning within fractioning.
But once again, I get the feel that those two, much as they may be not straightforward all the time, they're doing it for the greater good. They're trying.
What gives you that sense?
Everything Moraine's done, literally everything Moraine's done with Rand and the kids, even though she would destroy them, it has been to save the world.
So
She's
said.
concerned less about the individual than she is about.
Hello?
From
I
what
think you're
we've been told,
confused by the
unless
fact
she's
that
Black Aja.
the narration has been close to her for this whole time, so it's very easy to assume.
But I think Swan's backing that up because Swan is saying it's what we've planned.
We know they have a plan. Up to this point, we have no objective idea of what that plan is.
Well, we know it's not Leandrin's plan.
Well, okay, yes.
Well-
Leandrin is on the extreme end of the perspective.
So, she is. But from what we've been given, that's what I can take from it.
okay.
It's not that dark plan where I'm going to go manipulate people's brains with some.
But they
evil
are.
substance.
They're still manipulating people.
Different colored whatever they wear.
Shawls.
They don't wear
but
shells
it's their
by the
true to
station.
their heart, their aura, kind of what their personalities are.
Well, then in
Because
that case, I wouldn't want to be
brown-
hanging around any blues.
Moraine's a
clues.
blue.
What?
Yeah.
Moraine's a blue.
Yeah, cold-blooded people those would be.
I want to be around her all the time.
All right, Yoda.
I am your Zen master. Thank you, Adam.
You are. You're the beginning and the end.
That's right.
I would get along with the blues personally.
snake that
I
eats
would
itself.
be a blue if I was a woman. There's no
Eric
question
would
about it.
definitely be a brown. Also, my other point is that there are other how many colors are there? Or-
We've got blue, red,
Here, let me
brown, yellow,
Blue, red, brown, yellow.
I think
That's
those
all
are the
we've
only
heard.
ones
And
we've-
black.
and black. Well, right, which
And
isn't
black, yeah.
which isn't an official.
They mentioned green.
Yeah, they have mentioned green. That's
They've
4.
mentioned it about the fact that they get married.
Do you want to hang
There's
out with the blues?
mischief.
Okay,
I do
want
want to hang out with the blues for sure.
Moiraine seems to be attractive, so that's
No.
all good. But
Okay.
I'm
Jeez,
not.
that's what you're going with?
I
mean,
don't
hey,
know what
just-
else. I don't know what else
I'm
you
drawn
have
to
to go
attractive
on.
people. I'm not going to
She
lie.
blew some crap up and did some
Okay,
serious
so you like
damage against
destructive
people.
individuals. All right,
That are
that's your
attractive.
thing.
That
Let's
can
add that in
protect
there.
you, sure.
What
I don't like about her right now, because we're talking about Moiraine,
Her
and I
who?
wanted
Okay.
to talk about before, is that she's pulling a freaking Dumbledore and just being like, I'm going to ignore Rand. It's the best thing for him. He shouldn't come and talk to me.
That is a Dumbledore move, isn't it?
But it's by design. It may be the wrong.
Dumbledore had a reason for doing it too with Harry, but
it may be the wrong
by design.
Well, we don't know. We honestly don't know.
Annoying.
We haven't read enough to know.
No, she tells.
She says
Swan.
No. What I'm saying
tells
is,
Swan.
we haven't read enough to know the ultimate effect it's going to have.
But we know the purpose.
No, but she says it specifically to Swan. She's like,
right. She has
he
a
needs
purpose
to go off on his own. Yeah,
she has.
But
she
it's
has a
real
reason
annoying
for doing it.
It's real annoying for Rand.
So it
is real annoying for Rand.
That's the other thing we know about Aes Sedai. They are manipulative.
They are manipulative. Yes.
Yep.
And that's why I wouldn't want to hang out with any of them.
I don't know who you can trust.
And that's why Rand
and that's what Egwene is going to.
That's why Rand. Well, Egwene doesn't really have a choice.
But I think there's also probably different levels of manipulation that a person can do.
Oh,
well,
definitely.
Of course.
One involves torturing a lady of the house.
But these seem to be powerful individuals who think they know more than everyone else.
And maybe they do.
They probably do.
In this case, they most certainly do.
It sure seems that way, but because of that, people don't trust them, and they don't necessarily trust people.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an area
it's
of
the
conflict
evil that men
forward.
do. Lives on and on. That was some funky Bruce Dickinson right there.
I don't know who that was.
So this is some fascinating stuff we learned about the Aes Sedai. They
And
also
through that,
obviously don't trust each
about
other.
Morgaze. Yeah.
We know that it is a highly political body. There are factions that are fighting with each other. And like you mentioned, and Adam mentioned, obviously Moiraine and Swan are intertangled in some sort of plan. Revolving around Rand. That
I liked how that happened, by the way. It was great writing when Moiraine first entered the room. There were all these people in there. People were talking strictly to each other. And then Swan is like, everybody leave. And then you discover that they just hugged each other as friends.
Yeah, I don't think that moment... They're in there too long with each other. And obviously everybody is thinking that Moiraine needs to get paddled. And she doesn't.
They don't know that.
We don't know that actually either. We don't know what the end result is but they're in there for an extended period of time.
Sometimes a good paddling needs to happen.
So, she's in trouble. She's created problems for Swan, obviously. So we've learned a lot more about Aes Sedai than we understood
ever knew before.
Previously. It'll be interesting to see how
we have learned that I want to hang out with the Blues, and you guys do not.
You like you're searching for Blue's Clues.
Also, that was an important thing that was mentioned in that conversation.
Oh, stop mentioning important things. No one wants to hear them.
Reborn will not need to gather a following before nations move against him. Huh?
Wait, what?
Who to what?
Come again?
Maybe
he will begin with a nation around him and an army at his back.
We don't know what that means.
Well, it means he will begin with a nation around him and an army.
Thank you, King Friday.
It means that
it means he'll have an army at the start.
We don't know who these people are.
No. And
but
are we assuming Rand is the dragon at this point? Is Rand the dragon?
I'm telling you what.
Swan
I'm trusting.
Isn't sure.
I'm trusting Moiraine. She's been right every step of the way, so I'm going with her.
So that's another interesting thing is that Rand doesn't believe this, and he doesn't even know this. By the way, he doesn't know that Moiraine thinks this because the only thing that she's listened in on a conversation that he had with Egwene
dangly thing
and made that claim.
She's got earrings, dangly ones.
She's told Swan that she believes this, and Swan is like, well, we've seen a couple of other guys that can channel. Are we sure that this is the one?
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
And
but not all those three could channel.
Not all three could channel, but there were two of them that could channel. And Swan questions whether or not the wheel has just allowed them to be crushed, and Moiraine's like, no, come on.
But that goes to that whole point I made earlier about he has not named himself yet. And once he names himself, those others will not be spun out by the pattern any longer.
Right. Moiraine makes that claim too. So there's a lot that's going on here. So you're believing
fascinating stuff.
You're believing
I am
yes. I mean, honestly, like, are we going to get another 12 books if Rand isn't the Dragon Reborn.
It could be one of the other two. I mean, it could be the elusive Matt, but I mean, I just go with she has steered us in the right direction so far, so I'm going to lean on her judgment of knowing what she's talking about, as opposed to Swan, who's not out in the field.
Speaking of out in the field, who are we going to leave out in the field this week as our Coplin of the week?
Whew.
Adam apparently has
Answers.
abdicated from this question.
Just being.
Adam, are you doing an
With us on your
impersonation of a robot again?
No.
So while
I'm gonna
Adam,
go down into the I'm gonna go down into the.
Okay,
basement.
while you're doing that,
while
Aaron's going to come with his.
While Adam is descending into the basement all alone by himself
to go talk to Pot and Fain
to go confront the evil
through the thick plexiglass.
My Coplin of the week is Egwene.
It's not a surprise.
What the? For all the
what?
reasons that we have mentioned before, this has been a girl that has demonstrated incredible facility and intelligence, and she has just thrown all that to the wind to go talk to the crazy man under the stairs.
Because of loneliness.
Right, yes, because she misses the wheat fields and the bleeding goats of Emmons Field. So
you're with
what
that makes
is
sense.
wrong with you, Egwene Alvear?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
You are my Coplin of the week.
How about you, Adam?
You ain't Coplin enough attitude.
Oh, I said Moraine is mine for just leaving Rand on his own. I understand she has her reasons, but
yeah,
to Rand,
Interesting.
that's no good.
Yeah, you're seeing this from Rand's perspective. And you're
Well,
like,
that's the majority of what we've seen this whole thing.
right,
So
yes, as far as the narrative of the
that's why
book
I'm
goes,
saying that.
that's an appropriate tack.
Mine is Leandrin, because, ew.
That's a good one.
She is just
Ew, indeed.
all sorts of wrong
Filthy.
and all sorts of annoying.
And dangerous.
And she is like a paper cut with lemon juice poured on it.
You're nasty.
No, she's doing what she's like tick it.
And then
She's
cayenne
cutting your
pepper
leg
poured
off
on top of it.
with a wire.
She's like when you
razor
have
wire.
that cut on your finger and you don't know it's there because she's like evil that way. And then you go and you're putting your spice rub together for your meat. And then all of a sudden, like all those spices get into that cut and it burns like no one's business. It's that
I don't
sneaky,
know.
creepy burn afterwards. That's what she is to me.
She's a sneaky, creepy bird.
Yeah.
So the
All
moral
right.
of that story is when you prepare your food, wear
Wear
those little
rubber
gloves. Yes. So that doesn't happen.
Wear
Well,
latex gloves.
Those little black ones you see on the
A
Food
knife
Network
can
channel. I'm
cut
gonna get
through
some of those.
rubber.
The food.
What was that about what?
I'm rubbering you out.
What?
You just got rubbered out of this conversation.
So yeah, she's mine. I mean, you're right.
Okay.
I mean,
No, that's
Egwene
good.
is stupidly dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah,
She's not evil, though. She just dumb these
She's
6
dumb.
chapters.
dumb.
Yep.
She's going to pay for it now
Yeah.
in guilt. All right, on the opposite end of the spectrum, who leveled up?
This is actually a tough one this week, I think.
So difficult.
Who leveled up? Skeksis. Gelfling.
Yeah, all of you out there enjoying the new Dark Crystal series.
It looked interesting.
I'm gonna say Pot and Fain again
So you picked the evil to level up. Interesting. Okay.
because he
Okay.
seems like he has this Mordeth that's involved with
Well,
him.
I think
Which
Moraine
seems
just
to be-
confirmed that
Yeah,
is
which
the
seems
case.
to be an infection that can take over the world. And then he's also getting helped out by, I'm assuming, at this point, the Black Aja.
Okay.
I guess that
He's being
hasn't
helped?
been solidified.
Right. Where would you gather that?
It sure seems like it's. I don't know. Leandrin is there.
So you think he's associated with Leandrin? Okay.
All right, maybe.
Just
100%.
because?
She's
100%.
evil. So here's the interesting
No.
thought to that
H-
question.
No, I'm saying
H-U-N-N-E-T.
indeed now.
He-
Okay, that's not proven. I'm just saying it seems very convenient.
He-
I'm pretty sure at
Doesn't
one point
want to
that
be
he
with
was
those
looking
people,
up.
but he'll
Right.
take that to get out, I would suppose.
Well, sure, he's going to take
Well,
any help.
but anyhow, there's conversation about the fact that he's just
yeah, okay.
like,
So Adam's going
Right.
with Pot and Fain. He's
The
a solid
purest.
You're
seven.
just associating all the evil
Eric,
together.
who's yours?
Mine is Moiraine.
Thief.
The reason for that is that up to this point, she's she's been an obviously powerful Aes Sedai out in the frontier.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way that the last book ended, we can conclude that she's been looking for the Dragon Reborn. But
For
now,
20 years.
Okay, yeah, a long time. It's a solid
20
investment, which she believes is now paid off. And now, not only is she an Aes Sedai, but she also appears to be in some sort of blood pact with the Amerlin seat.
Yep.
So she's just not any Aes Sedai. She's
got ties to the highest of the high.
She is the executive wing of a blood pact with the queen of the Aes Sedai.
And not only that, we find out that she is tooled around with stuff that no other Aes Sedai knows about.
She's got that. She's got the Angreal or the Sangreal or whatever she was using.
Yep.
But they kind of want back.
And there's exactly that's why I want to hang out with her, and so does Dave.
I'm going with a throwback. I was torn. As much as
I can't see it anymore. Where did it go? It got thrown back.
Much as Egwene was dumb, I was torn between her and Rand, but I'm going with Rand. And I'm going with Rand for the simple, if not profound moment of when he's running through the women's halls and he stares down the Amerlin.
Does he stare her down, or is he confronted with her despite his own
Either
preference?
way, that is the most powerful woman in the world from what we're known as.
True.
And Rand is like, I can't be bothered with you right now. I've got to go save Egwene.
I would disagree. I think Rand is like, oh,
I don't think so.
You're in my way.
I think it's Rand once again. When Rand is in his element, Rand is in control. He does what he has to do and what has to be done every time he delivers.
And then he runs away from a Murdrol.
Like it's in his,
he wants to stay with the Murdrol. He gets told to leave to go save Egwene by Ingtar.
Yes.
It does not seem like it's in his control, though.
No, it's not.
Just like fumbles into his hands.
That being said, everybody else perceives it the same way you do, David.
And
sure, 100%.
But once again, he goes, he does what needs to be done. Once again, he gets down to the dungeons. He gets there. He fights his way through things. We don't like the way that he handles Matt and Perrin and Loyal. But
I understand
guess what?
Why he does it, though.
He does what most everyone probably could not do. And then, he starts down the armor. He runs all the way down.
What he perceives to be the tough work. Egwene thinks he's a fool, but that is a matter of perspective. So that concludes episode
Our broadcast day.
10.
Our podcast day is over.
Where we covered 7 chapters of Prologue and the first 6 chapters. So next week we will do chapters 7 through 12 of The Great Hunt.
Which is the sequel to The Eye of the World.
Thank you.
It says it right here in my book that I'm staring at.
That's an astute observation on your part. We thank you for joining us for this week and look forward to talking to you next week.